Director for International Recruitment here at Torrens University, looking after Asia Pacific, Greater China, Design and Creative Technology, as well as MDS in New Zealand. So today we're going to be talking about our very exciting new program, which is the Master of Information Technology. And for the purpose of this presentation today, I'll be concentrating on the advanced version of this program. After my presentation, I'll be taking questions. And then after we are complete with the Master of Information Technology, I'll be handling the presentation to my colleague, Doddy Christianto, who will be talking to you guys about other added benefits and all other reasons why your student would be choosing to come to Torrens University. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So the Master of Information Technology, when we put this presentation together, we had in mind along the presentation trying to answer all the questions that you or your students might have about the course. So for example, we put some of the opportunities that are out there at the moment when it comes to information technology, especially after the pandemic. A lot of things have changed, and that has created a number of new jobs. And studying information technology at the moment is definitely one of the best way to make sure that we are up with the trends and that we have the best possible chances to capture these new jobs that became available. As we progress through the presentation, I know there will be the urge to take notes, etc. Don't stress too much. The presentation will be circulated, will be sent to you guys and to all the participants at the end of the presentation. The presentation is also being recorded, so if you need to always come back and refer to any particular part of the presentation, that will also be possible. So McKinsey & Co. in 2020, when the pandemic hit, they put a statement out there that COVID-19 has pushed companies over the tipping point, and they also predicted that businesses would never be the same. Oh well, that's definitely one statement. A lot of companies have gone through a lot of restructure. A lot of companies have had to adapt. We all have had to pivot in order to deliver the best to our customers, in order to make sure that we cater for a whole new world. There is the post-pandemic world. And the Master of Information Technology, amongst other things, is one of our responses to this now ever so quick and ever so evolving environment that is education and that is preparing students to the workforce. Let's talk a little bit about graduate outcomes, because I know that when you decide to invest in studying, what you need to know, or what you ask yourself is, what am I getting out of it? What is the outcome that I'm getting out of it? So our graduates, they will be qualified as system analysts, a professional ICT role that is highly demanded at the moment. So some of the other outcomes that we can talk about is the ability to lead teams of ICT professionals and business personnel, the ability to plan, design, develop, and verify as well as evaluate ICT solutions. Also, the ability to research and develop innovative ICT solutions. Innovative is a word they're going to be using a lot throughout this presentation, and they're going to be using a lot throughout pretty much everything that we do these days. The ability to undertake an agile and other modern approach to ICT. Agile is a word that I'm sure you've been hearing a lot lately. We're going to be talking about that further in the presentation, but agile is the word that now defines everything that we do. Gone are the days where you could afford to take a year, 2 years developing a major project and delivering all at once at the end. With everything that's going on, it's imperative that our approach to everything that we do is very agile, meaning the ability to adapt, the ability to change as we progress. So projects are now living things that may require many changes throughout the way up until delivery or final delivery, but we'll be talking about that later. So some of our key unique selling points, that's something that I want to talk to you guys as well. When we're talking about the Master of Information Technology, one of the key selling points that I see is the majority of electives that you can do that is now available. So there is a range of electives that students can choose from, and these electives can be not just from design and creative technology. These electives, they can be as well from other faculties. What's to say, for example, you may want to do your elective from business. You may want to do your elective from design and creative tech. You may want to do an elective from software engineering. So all these options are there for you. Also, our Master of Information Technology was designed in a way that allows students to do it, be fully online, blended, a mix of online and face-to-face subjects, or on campus. That was a response to what we saw was needed in the market to develop courses that were completely in a way that would allow students to choose what best applied to them. Of course, when you're talking about international students, there might be some limitations about how much can be done online, how much can be done blended, etc. But the opportunity is there. A lot of students, they may decide that they want to stay offshore and they want to do the entire qualification online and maybe come to Australia for further study, etc. So it's all about options. Also, our course was structured in a way that it ticks all the boxes for ACS accreditation, because we understand that is important. We understand that's what students are after. So when we designed the course, we made sure that our course was designed in a way that it would tick all the boxes when it came to getting accreditation. We also made sure that our course satisfied the skill framework for information aid. You might have heard about AGE, you might have heard about it, SFIA. So we made sure that we complied with that we satisfied that as well. So design thinking is something quite important. When we talk about MIT, when we talk about information technology, what comes to mind very often are the old, from a few years back, information technology that's very rigid, very mechanic. What we decided to do, and that's the very reason why our information technology program ran out of our Faculty of Design and Creative Tech, is because we saw the need to embed creative thinking in everything that we do. So our graduates, they are also thinkers, and they are trained to think creatively when they are designing solutions for real life problems. So our graduates will have, as I mentioned before, not just the skills to lead, but what's very important, plan, design, and develop IT solutions. That is a skill that was missing, and we saw an opportunity to prepare students in a way that they can do that. We embedded work integrated learning into the course, meaning that students will experience real life, what it's like to be in the area of information technology. The students will be working in real life projects. The students might be working in live briefs. So the work integrated learning is a big part of this program, meaning that the student will get to put in practice everything that they've learned throughout the course. In terms of software and technology, students will mostly spend time with Python, Java, Jira, etc., just to give you an idea of the languages that the students will be using, the languages that the students will be spending most of their time on. And as well as applications such as Virtual Cloud, IBM Platform, and Amazon Web Service, which we all would have heard before. The students will be familiarized and will be working with all these technology out there. A little bit about the course and its structure. So as a Master of Information Technology Advanced, the advanced means it goes for 2 years. We also have the option to complete the program in 1.5 years, and we're going to be talking about nested options and early exit in a minute. So basically, the advanced version of the Master of Information Technology comprises of 16 subjects worth throughout 2 years. You might have counted the subjects on the screen and might have realized that they only add up to 13. Let's talk about it. The reason for that is that on the first year, the students will be doing 3-3-2, as in 3 subjects on the first trimester, 3 subjects on the second trimester, and 2 subjects on the third trimester, to a total of 8 subjects in the first year. Then on the second year, we flip it, meaning that on trimester 4, you'll be doing 2 subjects, which are 2 electives. In trimester 5, they will be doing 2 subjects, being 1 work integrated learning subject and 1 elective. And on the last trimester, on trimester 5, they will be doing 1 work integrated learning. Now, the weighing of these subjects is what I would like to draw your attention to. For example, work integrated learning on trimester 5 is a subject that's worth 2 subjects. Therefore, in that particular trimester, you'll be doing 3. And then when you move into term 5, the last one of the work integrated learning is worth 3 subjects. When you add it all up, so you're going to be doing 16 subjects worth over 2 years, but that's the reason why when you count them, you may only see 13. Speaking of nested approach to programs, we understand that every student, they have different needs, and therefore they might choose to early exit with a different qualification to the one they applied for. Example, a student that applied for the Master's Advanced, after 4 subjects, they may decide they want to exit with a graduate certificate, or that after 8 subjects, they want to exit with a graduate diploma. When it comes to international students, majority of the international students will be applying for the Master's Advanced because they want to stay in the country for 2 years. They want a program that runs for 2 years. However, we have students, for example, that do not require a student visa to go back to uni and do a course. So for those students, for example, they may choose to do the Master's over 1.5 years. And for those that are uncertain, they may decide to build on it. They may start with a grad cert, build with a grad diploma, etc. But what these allow us to do as well is that by offering a nested approach to the qualification, we allow students, for example, that do not meet entry requirement for the Master Advanced to package and do a grad cert packaged with a Master Advanced. Let's say, for example, if they don't meet the right English requirement for direct entry into the Master Advanced. So that allows more flexibility on how we admit our students. Also, what I would love to point out is some examples of what we have in our elective bank. So you can see there is a vast diversity in there. So some to note, big data and analytics, very interesting subject. My favorite, agile project management. As I said, agile is something that you will be listening a lot. Just to put into perspective, I don't know how much you know about project management. I'm an old school project manager, so I would have studied and done a lot of my degree in something that was called waterfall, which is the old system where you plan your project and you go from beginning to end and you deliver a final product at the end. But the challenges of doing that, when you do it, you don't take into account changes that might happen during the period that you're developing the product. Let's say a long run product that started before the pandemic clearly will not be able to go ahead. And if it goes ahead, what the product that will be delivered is a product that may no longer, that may no longer be needed, that may no longer satisfy the initial requirements. So Agile throws that out of the window and delivers a project where, for example, every 3 months, you'll be able to deliver a smaller component of the project, collect feedback from stakeholders, and if needed, make changes. So this is the new norm. So this is by far my favorite project because that's exactly what it means. It can capture a completely different way of doing business, like listening to feedback and incorporating that feedback as you progress throughout your project. But anyway, don't get me talking about project management, otherwise we'll be here all day. So you have a list of really interesting subjects in there in your elective bank. Cybersecurity, also one of my favorite, but we can talk about that a little bit later. Let me move on. So in short, what will students learn through this course? So we try to capture in a summarized way what would be the learning outcomes of the Master of Information Technology if the student were to complete the course. So fundamentals of programming and best practice, to name a few, how to manage software development processes and to undertake quality assurance, the ICT infrastructure and their ICT solutions when it comes to implementation, how to analyze complex problems and design ICT solutions, how to consolidate skills and knowledge about software, hardware, and put that to use, And students will also receive exposure to workplace. As I mentioned, through our work integrated learning, students will experience what it's like to work in information technology in a real world, really. So our courses will equip students with the skills that they need to really do it, learn by doing from the very beginning. And at the end, the graduate opportunities I listed a few of them, but they're not just that. It's actually, there's quite a few that I didn't put in there, but just to give you an idea of the most popular ones that our students will be getting at the end of the program with us. So business analyst, cybersecurity analyst, data scientist, to name a few. And I've highlighted system analyst in that on the right column because that is probably the most natural placement that the student will have at the end of this program. But that gives you an idea of the array of options that our students will have once completing the MIT program with us. Now, talking about course details, as a master's degree, so the entry requirement will be in line with other master's degree that we have at Torrens University and in most universities in Australia. So in order to be accepted, you would need to have completed a bachelor level equivalent, meaning that whatever you've studied in Australia or offshore needs to be equivalent to an Australia bachelor's degree. You will need a background somehow related to the information technology degree. But I always encourage students to apply and let us have a look. And the reason why I say that is even if you don't have a background, we might be able to look into work experience. We might be able to package from a grad cert onto the Master Advanced. So the entry requirement is pretty black and white. You need a background. However, if you don't have a bachelor in the same area, but you have a wealth of experience in the area, definitely talk to us about it. We might be able to look into it. The fees for the program currently are $53,800. This is without applying any scholarship. And the locations that we are offering the program are in Adelaide, Brisbane, Melbourne, online, and in Sydney. In Brisbane, just keep in mind that the face-to-face classes in Brisbane are only from T2 2022, but you can enroll now, knowing that you'll be doing online classes if you so choose. So the main intakes, February, July, and September, with very likely, we are very likely to open those B intakes as well, depending on the demand. One question that comes up, and I remember when we launched software engineering back in 2019, that was easy to explain. But then we had information technology. So when we launched software engineering, it kind of got, where do I go from one? Where do I go for the other? And now we launched Master of Information Technology. So it gives students options, but it also gets students asking, what's the difference between one? What's the difference between the other? When do I go for MIT opposed to NBIS or opposed to MSc, the software engineering one? So we put side by side a comparison between the two of them. So you can clearly see what would be the main difference of the programs when you look at MIT and when you look at NBIS. But what I want to draw attention is to the paragraph at the bottom where I put that in bold, because if you had to put all that slide in a few words, what would they? Well, MIT is more generic, open to, and open to future options, but will provide practical ICT knowledge along with, allowing graduates to lead, supervise, and prepare ICT development. The MIC, though, the software engineering one, though, is more specific and way more specialized. And at the same time, the MBIS target business graduates who want to migrate into ICT industries. So if you concentrate on that one, it becomes a little bit easier to explain to prospective students when they would go to one over the other. So if the student wants something extremely specialized and specific, definitely would be software engineering, would be MSc. However, if it's a business student that want to, get into ICT industries, definitely MBAS. And if they actually want to provide practical knowledge and manage, supervise, and participate in development, then definitely would be MIT. Let's talk about scholarships. So there are scholarships available for this program. The scholarships, they start at 15% and they go all the way up to 30%. Because we have a range of scholarships, so please talk to our representative, talk to your account manager, and they will be able to guide you through the options that are available to your students. What will determine the scholarship is a range of things. It can be marks, it can be performance, it can be the work they've done, it can be the curriculum. So talk to us, we will be able to help you find a scholarship that your student would be able to apply, but they would range from 15 all the way up to 30%. We've done a few presentations about MIT, and from each presentation, questions come up at the end, as you will today. And what I did, we got the most frequently asked questions from previous, and I put in here because I thought they were quite interesting. There is always a question about, will you accept my offshore qualification? Absolutely. As we mentioned before, we just need to ensure that your offshore qualification is equivalent to an Australian bachelor. We do have ways to verify that, and once verified, being equivalent, that will be accepted if in the same area, unless of course you have significant work experience if you're coming from a bachelor of a different area. Another question that comes very often as well is, what kind of equipment will I need to do this program? Do I have to buy one of those power expensive machines? Absolutely not. Despite what people might think, you actually can get through the course with a reasonably simple machine. Just ensure that you have a machine with a minimum 8 gig of RAM and you should be completely fine. And out of my top questions that get asked is, what is my out of pocket? Because it's information technology, there are software involved. How much is that going to cost me? Absolutely nothing. All the software that we use, they are open source and therefore they are free to use. So you wouldn't have to worry about it. You would not be paying subscription. You would not be paying one-off fees in order to use any of the software that are needed to complete this program. And before I close my presentation today, I just want really to draw attention to the opportunities that are in information technology at the moment. So the highlighted bits speak for themselves. So, there is an increase of 6.8% between 2018 and 2019 in the number of technology workers alone. So it's a big jump in there. And again, you're going to have all these stats sent to you in the presentation. But following from ACS, Australian Computer Society, so the workforce is expected to grow 3.1% on average for the next 5 years. So you project that, that's a big progression in there. We are still in the infancy when compared to other countries. So Australia has a lot to catch up, meaning, if you look in future years, that will be a magnitude of new positions coming up for students that have MIT background. The pace to reach 5 trillion in 2021. So we're looking at about 4.2 growth. This is significant. And from a study in Australia, that's my favorite one. In the last 3 years, Australia has seen over 33,000 new jobs created in the technology industry. So that's significant and that won't stop there. And my all-time favorite one, also from a study in Australia, IT remains one of the highest paid industries in Australia. So makes one think, maybe I should be doing information technology. Just food for thought in there. But definitely some very interesting stats in there for you to look into, and you're going to have access to all of that as well. So this is pretty much all I had to talk to you guys today about the Master of Information Technology Advanced. Before I handle to my colleague, Doddy Christianto, that will be talking to you about some other things, I would like to check if there are any questions. Yes, there is one there. What does MIT career look like after COVID in terms of employability rate, salary, etc.? Well, I guess that my last slides speak for themselves. So before COVID, MIT was already a growing area, and especially after the pandemic, it means we'll get even better if you are looking to get into this particular industry, because jobs are being created daily. If you look in 5 years, jobs that did not exist are being created now. We offer digital transformation as well. So if you look 2, 3, 5 years ago, digital transformation is something that made absolutely zero sense. People didn't know what it was. And you look at digital transformation now, it's not just a buzzword, it's just a way of moving forward post-pandemic. So definitely the perspective couldn't be any better. I strongly recommend anyone looking to have an idea of salaries in MIT, just go on seek.com, just type information technology, filter by city, and have a look. The salaries are extremely appealing. Some students, some salaries start 120, 150. That's kind of a benchmark to look into salaries in Sydney, for example, at the moment. Let me see. Another question. Is the Master of Information Technology ACS listed course, and do we offer BIT? Are we going to offer the Bachelor of Information Technology soon? So 2 questions there. As I mentioned before, the Master of Information Technology was designed in a way that it will tick all the boxes when it comes time to get accreditation at ACS. So we launched the program in T3, which wasn't long ago, T3 2021, and we are going to apply for a provisional accreditation with ACS early in 2022. So the provisional accreditation means that we will be listed on the ACS website. We will be listed as having a provisional accreditation, and the way that it works, we will remain that provisional accreditation up until the point that we have graduates. And once our students start to graduate, then that's when they will organize interviews, etc. And then they will move our accreditation, hopefully from a provisional accreditation to a full accreditation. But as I mentioned, starting the process early in the new year, I expect it to be a smooth process, meaning that we will be provisionally accredited, hopefully without any issues. And the Bachelor of Information Technology, yes, I can confirm that we are working in putting together a Bachelor of Information Technology as well. And fingers crossed, it should be available very soon. I might be here again talking to you guys about the launch of a new program, hopefully the BIT. Another question there. What is the English requirement for graduate certificate and master? The English entry requirement in this particular instance is the same. So both require a 6.5, and both require, a background. However, as I mentioned before, if you have significant experience in the area, even if you've had a bachelor in a different area, just talk to us. We might be able to package you grad cert and master and still be able to offer you the program. In terms of English language, if you have an IELTS that's not, or an English result that's not quite what we need, we do have our own language program that we might be able to get you through. So you'd be doing a few weeks of English with us, leading to either a grad cert or directly to a master. So we do take into account, for example, if you have been in Australia working on an environment that is fully immersive and using the English language, we can look into that as well. So I strongly recommend, let's have a talk, let's talk about it, and we will explore all opportunities to accept you into the course if there is a way to do that. And the last question I have here, What happens if the student doesn't have an IT background but would like to do MIT? I think I kind of answered that already, but basically it's what I said. You do need to have an IT background back at a bachelor level to get direct entry into the course. However, I'll give you a real example. We had a student that had a Bachelor of Laws, not really much to do with information technology. However, this particular prospective student had significant work experience in the area. So that was a student that was fluent in C++, was fluent in Python, had been running and writing JavaScript for a number of years, and had, I believe, in excess of 5 years experience working in IT. So we managed to get that student through what we call special entry. There are more questions that are asked, there are more documentation to be provided, but my sales team will assist you in put that all together in a way that will allow that to be assessed. And if there is an opportunity to get you on board, we definitely will. All right, so I believe these are all the questions that I have for now. So unless there's no more questions coming through. So I'd like to thank everyone for attending today's session. As I managed, there will be another session coming up with my colleague Doddy Christianto, and he will be telling you a lot more exciting things about Torrens University and the programs that we offer, the intakes and etc. So I'll let him do his thing. So I'll just finish on that note. Thank you very much, and thank you for attending.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Carlos, for the very exciting, interesting information about the Master of Information Technology that we are offering. So now my presentation is about, well, we've heard already about the exciting news about the Master of Information Technology, but now when can I start this course at Torrens University Australia? When is the next available intakes that we are offering for you to start your journey at Torrens University Australia and achieve your future career in the information technology? So the next available intake that we do have is the Term 4 intakes, which is, it will start on 1st of November 2021. This intake is the last opportunity for you to start your journey with Torrens University Australia in 2021. So I will give you a little bit more landscape about the Term 4A intakes, about the weekly basis, and what are the courses as well that we are offering. And the most important thing as well, what scholarships that we are offering in these T4 intakes. So as we all know, at Torrens University Australia, we do have 3 main intakes a year, which is trimester 1 in February, trimester 2 in May, trimester 3 in September. And also, we do have the B intakes and the T4 intake, which is for this T4 this year is happening on 1st of November. Now, in regards to the Master of Information Technology and Master of Information Technology Advanced, like where is the locations of the campus that I can start these programs in the T4 intake? So you can start the Master of Information Technology in the Brisbane campus, in the Adelaide campus, in the Melbourne campus, and also in the Sydney campus. And the good news as well, if you are currently offshore, overseas, and you want to start this T4 for the Master of Information Technology, you can do the online campus as well, which means that you can do this course anywhere around the world. Now, this is the weekly structure of the Term 4 intakes. So the course will start on the 1st of November and it will finish by 6th of February 2022. What is good about the T4 intakes? In the T4, it utilizes the summer, and you can take a possible of 2 subjects in this T4. And this T4, we have the standard 12 weeks duration. And in between of this trimester, you do have the 2 weeks break. And the most important things that you can take a benefit of the 2021 scholarship. And at the same time, we do have the specifically designed scholarship only for these T4 intakes. In regards to the courses that we are offering in this T4, as we all know that we are offering Master of Information Technology in this T4 intakes, but other courses that we are also offering. In the business vertical, we are offering the undergraduate programs in business, in general business, entrepreneurship, event management, marketing, and sport management. We also offering undergraduate in business information system and also commerce. In the postgraduate level, we are offering business administration, GCBA, GDBA, MBA, and MBAA. We're offering business information system, GDBIS, MBIS. We are offering Master of Engineering Management. We're offering Global Project Management, GCGPM, GDGPM, MGPM, MGPMA. We're also offering Master of Professional Accounting and Master of Professional Accounting Advanced. And also, you can start T4 for the dual master, MBA, MGPM, MBA, MPH, and also MGPM, MPH. In the design and creative technology vertical, the courses that we are offering in undergraduate is film and video, UX and web design, 3D design and animation, communication design, software engineering in artificial intelligence and game programming, branded fashion design, game design and development, and also interior design in commercial and residential. For the postgraduate level, we are offering Information Technology, Master of Information Technology and Master of Information Technology Advanced, Master of Software Engineering, Artificial Intelligence Advanced, and Cloud Computing Advanced. And also we are offering Master of Design and Master of Design Advanced. In the education vertical, we are offering the postgraduate Master of Education, Special Education Advanced. In hospitality verticals, we are offering in the health verticals, we are offering undergraduate health science in aesthetic, Chinese medicine, clinical nutrition, naturopathy, and also Western herbal medicine. And in the postgraduate level, we are offering public health in the GCPH, GDPH, MPH, and also MPHA. In the hospitality verticals, we are offering the undergraduate in culinary management, hospitality management, and tourism management. In regards to the campuses that we are offering for these T4 intakes, it's mostly we're offering in every single campuses for this T4 intake, which is you can start in Adelaide, in Brisbane, Melbourne, and also Sydney. And as I mentioned to you before, but we also offering the T4 intake in the online campus. So it means even you are currently overseas, you still can start this T4. Now the most interesting news. We're offering the international scholarships. So for these T4 intakes, this is the last opportunity for you to apply the 2021 scholarship schedule. But at the same time, we do have the specifically designed scholarships only for these T4 intakes. Let's have a look. So the first ones, the specifically designed scholarships only for this T4 is the 30% Brisbane campus. The second one is the 20% special limited T4 scholarship for the Asia and Greater China region. And based on the 2021 scholarship schedules, the students can apply up to 30% merit design and creative technology scholarship, up to 30% hospitality scholarship, 20% Business Asia Merit Scholarship, 25% Business Merit Scholarship, the 20% Health Asia Merit Scholarship, and last but not least is the 15% Alternative Pathway Onshore Scholarship. Now, why you need to start T4 at Torrens University Australia? Because Torrens University Australia is innovative, disruptive, and has an international approach to higher education, and we are the fastest growing university. The students get the access to over 300 high quality courses, and the students can study what they want and where they want. The students have the access to our global network. The students will have the industry placement with some of the most influential brands in the world. And also the students will be assigned with the success coach to coach them to achieve the career and life goals. In regards to demographic of our international students, currently we do have more than 11,000 international students enrolling at Torrens University Australia. They are coming from 6 different continents, over 118 countries. I think before I finish my presentations, I will play you the video to show you the campuses that we do have across 4 cities. So I'll play the video now.
Welcome to Torrens University Australia. Come on in and I'll take you on a tour.
The main focus at Torrens University is for our students to get not only knowledge, but the practical skill set within the industry they've chosen.
We offer interactive workshops taught by our leading industry academics. We also offer mixed mode, on-campus and online studies for the majority of our courses.
We are one of the best design schools here in Australia with a history of around about 40 years in the industry, so we have a lot of industry connections.
On this campus, students live, work and study in our simulated hotel environment. We have the Waldorf Hotel across the road where students work and talk to real guests every day.
One of the most exciting things about being a student at the Pyrmont campus is you get the opportunity to get hands-on experience by working in a professional integrative practice here at the Wellbeing Centre.
This is our sewing room, a part of our fashion facilities. Students get the opportunity to get hands-on, create their garment designs and bring them to life.
For our nursing students, we have a fully functional hospital ward.
The beauty of Torrens University is we cap our classes at 24. Therefore, our students are getting a smaller classroom size, giving them the opportunity to raise their hand in class, connect with their educator, and not get lost in a large crowd of a lecture hall.
The Alfred Jacker Library has one of the largest collections of natural medicine resources in Australia.
This is just one place where you can study with great views of the Brisbane River and Story Bridge.
We have vibrant shops, restaurants and cafes at our doorstep.
Each student that enrolls at Torrens University is assigned a success coach. This success coach is here to mentor you through your studies and help prepare you for the workforce.
We are so proud to see our students start their studies here and end up all across the world. We'd love for you to come and check it out for yourself, but thank you for watching and we hope to see you soon.
All right, that's about the presentations for today. So I just quickly have a look whether we do have the questions. Okay, so there's one question here. There's a few questions. So is the scholarship going to be extended to 2023 to applications. So as I mentioned to you earlier before, the scholarships that I presented is based on the 2021 scholarships, and there is a specifically designed T4 scholarship. So with that specifically designed T4 scholarship, it's only applicable if the student started for this T4 1st of November. Yes, the 1st of November starting next week. But we still can process the application. So if you're really interested to apply and get the benefits of the 2021 scholarship and also the T4 scholarship, this is the time for you to submit the application and start T4 intakes. The second question, could the student just study one subject and pay one in this intake? So in regards to the subjects, so for this T4, some of the courses we are offering 3 subjects. So it means that the students need to pay based on 3 subjects. And as the standard trimester started, that the students need to pay the minimum course deposit, which is based on 3 subjects. However, by saying that, some of the courses we are offering only 2 subjects for the students to start. So there is a possibility for the students to pay 2 subjects and just do 1 subject, because there's only 2 subjects that we are offering for this T4. So there's a lot of flexibility here in regards to the students starting this T4. The next question, what is the deadline to submit the new application for this intake? Well, as I mentioned to you before, we are still accepting the application. Even though that the intake will start next week, 1st of November, we're still processing it. So if you are interested to apply, my suggestions, apply now, apply today. So you're not gonna miss out for this T4 intake. So this is really good opportunity for you to apply for this T4 and get the benefits of the scholarship that we are offering specifically for this T4 intakes. All right, it seems there's no more other questions. So I believe if you have the questions after these sessions, you can contact to one of the Torrens University representative. I believe that you've been in touch with one of our team. So if you have any question in regards to the T4, in regards to the details of the courses that we are offering in this T4, more details about the scholarship for this T4, or maybe the entry requirement itself, you can contact to one of Torrens University representative, or you can also contact me here. So I believe that's all from us. Thank you for joining, and happy Friday and have a good weekend. Thank you.